So this is Unit 3, Part 3, entitled Major and Minor Progressions. By now you've worked through three of the most common chord progressions for guitar, the D progression, A progression, and G progression. And you should be pretty comfortable with those chords as we've been using them for a while. If you need to go back and review, this is a good time to do that, because now we are going to jump in full steam ahead and learn three more progressions. Once you've kind of gotten the hang of chords and you've learned some of the most common chords, including D, A, G, and C, it moves much faster to learn more chord progressions. And so in this unit, you're going to master three more: the E progression, the E minor progression, and the A minor progression. And a lot of those have chords in common with each other and with the progressions we've already been working on. So even though it sounds like it's a ton of new material, you'll be able to pick it up a lot faster at this point now that you've got a pretty good foundation playing chords on the instrument. So we're going to start by looking at page 14 in your book, the E progression. And by now you've been using these diagrams for a little while, so you should be able to find your E chord. Similar to the E7 chord, which we've already learned, you just have one extra finger down. Okay. The next chord in the progression is A, which we've been using, the three in a row. And then finally B7. This is a new chord. It's the first chord we've come across that uses four fingers. You'll notice you've got your pinky down on the outside here, which it's not too tough to get to. Once you play it a few times, you won't find it difficult, but you do have to remember to make sure that you really press down strong with your pinky, because it's not our strongest finger, it's our weakest finger. So you really have to remember to put down a lot of pressure on your pinky. Okay? So once you go through these chords and put them together as a progression, you're going to move on to the minor progressions. So far, all the progressions we've been using have been major, which means they're really kind of happy and bright in sound. But if we adjust just one finger in each chord, we can move it from a major chord to a minor chord. That's what the lowercase m stands for, is minor, which is a much sadder, melancholy sound. And it doesn't take a lot to make that change. So depending on the type of song that you're playing, there might be a need for minor chords, or the whole song might use minor chords if the composer or the songwriter is trying to get kind of a sad, melancholy mood across. So you'll notice that the E minor progression uses the E minor chord instead of E. It uses the A minor chord instead of A. But the B7 chord is the same. And when we use minor progressions, that 5-7 chord stays the same. It's just the first two that get shifted slightly. So take a look and practice your E minor chord. It's just two fingers next to each other. This is a pretty commonly used chord. The A minor chord, which you'll notice it's the exact same shape as E, it's just shifted one string over, and B7 is the same. Once you've practiced these two progressions and you feel comfortable with them, jump ahead to the next page, where you'll find the A minor progression. And so similar to the A progression that we've studied already, instead of A, D, E7, it's going to be A minor, Instead of A, D, E7, it's going to be A minor, D minor, E7. So the 5-7 chord stays the same, but the first two get shifted just a little bit. A minor you learned in the previous progression, so this is familiar. D minor is like a sideways triangle. This is a little bit of a stretch, but use the diagram here to help you. And E7 you know. And so just like you did in the last unit, you're going to learn these three progressions from memory and play them from memory. It's the E minor, and the A minor. And then once you're done with that, you have a performance in this unit, and it's very open-ended. You get to choose any song that you would like, literally anything in the entire world, as long as the lyrics are school appropriate, that uses one of the keys we've studied. So we've studied songs in the keys of D, A, G, E, E minor, A minor, which almost any song will fit into that. The only exception is I don't want you to use any songs that use the C progression that have the F chord in it, because the F chord is a mini bar, and that's something we're going to be working on a little bit later. So any song that you can find that has familiar chords in it, things we've been working on, that doesn't have an F, you can choose to work on. I have lots of folders of things that students have done in the past that you might enjoy looking at, or you can follow the link on Edmodo to a great website called Ultimate Guitar, where you can search by artist, you can search by song name. You just have to check and make sure that the chords are some that will work for you. If you find a song that does have an F in it, you can even transpose it to a different key. There's buttons on the left, and I can show you how to use those. Okay, so get to work on these next 3 chord progressions, and then start thinking about what song you'd like to be working on when you're done.